Hello, and welcome to retzone.ca's first, the best, or is it a hot mess review, where I will be buying random electronic items on AliExpress and reviewing them to see if they're worth purchasing or not, so you don't waste your time or energy, and seeing if these products are just instant landfill. Today, we will be looking at the completely generic and unbranded AV to HDMI adapter that I came across on AliExpress. My curiosity got the best of me. I needed a device that would do composite to HDMI, and I have been looking at the OSSC as well as the RetroTink. So I was looking for different items on AliExpress one day, and I came across this AV to HDMI box, and I believe I paid $4 Canadian with no shipping at the time. And I ordered it, and surprisingly it came rather quickly and from a warehouse in Canada where I live, as opposed to directly from China, which was surprising to me. So I decided I would run my Super Nintendo and my Sega Master System through it to see what the results of the image quality are, to see if it's worth the $4 I paid for it. Let's take a look at what we got in the box. We got the device itself, which is very light, very small, but it doesn't feel too flimsy, and the plastic isn't that bad actually. The power lead that you get is the cheapest, smallest, and thinnest USB cable. I had trouble getting it to put power to the unit, so I threw that out pretty much right away and got a properly thick USB cable and a proper power supply. I did try powering it off the USB port on the back of the television, but I guess the 500 milliamps that the TV gives out with USB 2, or it possibly could be USB 1.1 because the TV is an older LCD TV. So anyway, I had to use a external USB power brick, and then it started to function properly. And then of course you get the instructions, which is on a little bit of toilet paper, it looks like. They're black and white. They're actually legible. They're not poorly translated as you get sometimes with these things. One interesting thing is in the instructions it mentions you can connect this to a television or a graphoscope. What is a graphoscope, you ask? Well, I had to Google it myself. It is a device from the 1800s that makes pictures appear more realistic and 3D as opposed to 2D. I guess it's kind of a take on the lenticular thing where you can make a photo appear 3D by wiggling it back and forth a little bit. Anyway, I found that interesting that they put graphoscope in the instructions. I'm assuming they meant maybe a picture frame with HDMI input, but to be honest, I have not actually seen one of those yet. So let's move on to playing the SNES through this. So I have my Model 1 Super Nintendo with the Nintendo standard AV cables going into the box. The box then connects to HDMI on the back of my television, and the audio gets pumped directly into the camera. But I did do a test with the audio, and it actually sounds fine coming out of the TV as well as into the camera as well. And I found little to no lag with this as well. But let's take a look at the footage here, and we'll see if this $4 device is actually worth $4, or is it a hot mess? This footage was captured using my camera and my 19-inch LCD monitor. There will be a direct capture using my HDMI to USB device, but let's have a look at the footage for this one. So as you can see, it is scaled to 1080p. You have two choices, 720p and 1080p. So I chose 1080p. You can see that they've just basically taken the image and resized it to 1080p. They haven't de-interlaced it, and it looks pretty pixelized and blurry. On a 19-inch LCD with the naked eye, it looks and plays fine. With the direct capture, you'll see that the interlacing is more of an issue, but on the TV itself, it looks fine. The one thing I do notice is that the image around the character seems to move in the background a little bit. I'm not sure what's causing that, It's almost like they're using some kind of lossy compression or lossy resize to get the pixels to 1080p. But, I mean, this device was $5 after all, and this is a $5 picture. It works fine. I wouldn't put this on, say, a 40 to 65 inch TV. It would just look awful. So let's have a look at the direct capture. Here we have the footage captured directly from the SNES using standard AV cables to the composite to HDMI box into an HDMI to USB 3 device and recorded directly with OBS. So let's have a look at the footage we have here. Now, since this is captured directly, you can see that the pixelization is a lot worse and the interlacing is very apparent. Running it on an actual TV makes this look a lot better. This was captured at 30 frames per second, and you can see when the guys perish that it is very interlaced. Now, before I mention that when the character moves around, the background seems to sort of deform around him a little bit. That doesn't seem to be too obvious capturing the feed directly using the capture device. They haven't line doubled this or anything. I mean, it claims that it's an upscaler. It is not an upscaler. It's just basically a resizer. But overall, there's no lag. Going through two different devices, surprisingly, the audio is in sync. If you consider that this was a $5 device, then you're getting a $5 picture. Overall, if you consider that this device is $5, it does a decent job. They claim it's an upscaler, it's not an upscaler. This is a resizer. It just takes the 352 by 240 image and resizes it to either a 720p signal or a 1080p. Now, even though that the P is in there, this is still an interlaced picture. This box does not do any de-interlacing. Now, depending on the TV you hook this up to, it may de-interlace it for you. The TV I have is an older 19-inch Samsung LCD and it didn't de-interlace it, nor did my HDMI capture device. I also wanted to mention that when you run this through a TV, it takes the composite image and stretches it to fit the widescreen TV. So on your TV, you'll have to set it by 4:3 if you want it to look like the proper aspect ratio. When I recorded the footage using the camera and the TV, I had the TV set to 4:3. When I recorded the game using the HDMI capture device, I had to, I will say, synthetically resize the picture to simulate a 4:3 image because it just stretched it to the 16:9 aspect ratio that 1080p has. If you are looking for something that's more of a RetroTink or OSSC quality upscaler, then this is not the device for you. This is a quick and easy $5 device that does the job. Okay, not the best. The bigger the TV, the worse this is gonna look. This will be handy for me if I need to quickly hook up a composite device to my TV when I don't really care about the quality. It just works. Don't expect more than that. So I guess in conclusion, I have to say that this is a hot mess.